Shalom, everybody. Hope you're having an amazing Rosh Chodesh Iyar. Insights, Bezat Hashem, on this amazing period called the Sefirat HaOmer, which is a preparation for receiving the Torah on Shavuot. Just an amazing insight that is called from Rav Noson's teachings and Rav Noson's letters to his son. They say in Breslov, to find the essence of Breslov teachings, you'll find them in Rav Noson's letters, because that's really the most practical, real reality of Breslov is what was actually happening to the people. So when you see how Rav Noson talks to his son on his struggles and the daily challenges and everything he's going through, you can't get more real than that. In Rav Noson's prayers, it's the yearning. Rav Noson's Likutey is the ideology. But the letters is really down to earth, seeing things. So Rav Noson writes to his son an amazing idea, which he writes elsewhere also in Likutey as this relates to Sefirat HaOmer. The idea is that as a Jew and as life goes on, a person begins to feel more and more humbled, and if you want to say weakened, by his setbacks in life. There's so many punches in the boxing ring, so many setbacks, and so many things not working out. And a person begins to see so much his imperfections. When he started in Yiddishkeit, starting serving Hashem with his aspirations, everything was like going uphill. And there's a goal, and I'm going to reach it. And even though there were always challenges, but there's a lot of energy and strength to go back up. But eventually, a person begins to feel overwhelmed by the setbacks, overwhelmed by his inadequacies, overwhelmed by his lackings and his deficiencies, and a person begins to feel he's really unworthy. Who am I that Hashem should stick himself out to save me and help me? Who am I after everything I'm doing, after what I've done, after who I am, and I'm so trapped in my desires and my lusts and my ta'avot and midot ra'ot and bad midas? How in the world is Hashem gonna help me? I'm not deserving. Person begins to be slackening in his davening and his service of Hashem because he feels, anyways, who says Hashem's gonna help me? Look what I've done. I've done so much bad. How in the world Hashem is gonna save me? So Rav Noson writes like this. It's unbelievable. He writes in a letter, 200 and something, 236, 234. One of those letters there, he says, he says to his son, and even if you feel you are totally undeserving because of your deeds, as he says, but nonetheless, Hashem yaseh ma shebeinav tov lasot. Something like that extent, in that direction, that Hashem will hatov be'einav yaseh. That's the wording. Hashem will do what's fitting in His eyes. Even though you are as you are, you can't tell Hashem what to do. This is Rav Noson goes into this a lot. He says a person begins to feel so bad about himself. He begins to decide as if for Hashem, I'm unworthy. I've decided I'm unworthy, and therefore it's not fitting for Hashem to help me. Who told you to butt in? Who told you to decide for Hashem? Hashem's in charge. You're as you are. Still, nonetheless, Hashem will do as He sees fit, even if you're undeserving. Okay. I had a case of a friend, a guy, reached out and he's on shidduchim, and he feels so low about himself because of his deficiencies, if it's become a brit, defilement of the covenant, and he's out on shidduchim with good girls, like good Beit Yaakov girls, and he says he feels so low and not deserving. Why should I take a good girl if I'm so blemished, right? So the same thing is here. Hashem is sending you these good shidduchim, okay, and you feel you're undeserving. That's not your business. If Hashem is sending you something good, you feel undeserving, it's not for you to decide for Hashem. If now it's coming your way something good, take it in. Don't say, I don't deserve this. That, Rav Noson writes in one place, goes under the category of anava psula, false humility. False humility. Oh, I don't do this, I don't deserve that. But Hashem is sending it to you. Take it. Take it with two hands. Why do you decide for Hashem? Okay? This is the exact same idea as Sefirat HaOmer. We're counting down the days. It's an amazing term. Count in English, we call it a countdown. What's the idea? Rav Noson writes, during Sefirat HaOmer, already the period is like a bit down because we're mourning over the death of the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva, which was a major, major, major loss because there was a lot of Torah study, and because of a blemish of Avat Yisrael, so much was lost. Okay, so it's a big, big dent in our life, in our Judaism, in the world, this period of Sefirat HaOmer until Shavuot. Okay, so we're counting down the days. Down, it's a down mourning, like we're not allowed to have weddings, no haircuts, whatever, no music in the sense, right? So it's down on a general sense. And Rav Nosson writes also personally, during Sefirat HaOmer, people go through crazy ups and downs. You sometimes feel that all year round is ups and downs. It's true. All year there's different periods, but whenever there's an ups and downs, there's always like a high. Okay, you reach somewhere. Like the night of Pesach is a high, and the build up to Pesach is a lot of also ups and downs and crazy things, but it's a high. And now there's another down, and the next high will be Shavuot, and the next high will be Rosh Hashanah, whatever. Like HaOmer, there are highs and lows in the year, and you have to learn how to train to be able to cope and be strong and be happy, even though things are in the low. So during Sefirat HaOmer, Rav Nosson writes, people are being challenged big time. You can see how Rav Nosson expresses this in a beautiful prayer he wrote for the Sefirah period. It's prayer 36, part 2 of the 50th gate, Rav Nosson's prayers, Likutey Tfilot. And Rav Nosson says, he says about himself, about the reader, one saying, you saying the prayer, I go up to heaven, up to the heavens, and I go down to the depths, and it's as if they're putting me in a sling, a hollow sling. They're putting my soul in a hollow sling, which means like it's like super high and super down, and it's never ending. Okay, so Rav Nosson expresses that this is how it is, especially during the Sefirat HaOmer. You feel, who am I? What is this? I'm not deserving. So Rav Nosson says, and yet your days, which are so upside down, you're counting them. Sefirat HaOmer is you're counting the days even though they are as they are. Look how I daven. My davening is down. I'm out of it. I don't wake up on time. I don't even concentrate anymore. I don't say brachot properly anymore. And then you just have a list of things that are just negative. And you begin to wonder, this is a day? And the answer is yes. Sefirat HaOmer obligates you. It's a mitzvah to count the days even though your days are as they are. But you begin to say, but I'm not deserving. What am I counting my days? Hashem says, no, you're counting your days, and you're going to get to the Keter, the crown of Shavuot, the 50th level, the 50th gate, which is called the Keter. You're going to get to that. But my days, that's not your business. That's not your problem. Your job is to count the days. The counting, the idea of counting a day in the Sefirah, is you're expressing that this day counts. However it is, with all the garbage I went through in the day, all the upside downs, it's still a day. It's a day. It's part of the countdown, okay? It's going to lead up to the Keter, to the Sefirat. What? My day? Everything I went through, all the crazy things I did and everything, and as I am, I'm so upside down, and I can't even consider my day as a day. It's such a waste of time. The answer is yes. Hashem wants your day, wants you to value your day. You say a bracha on it. I count down this day, even though it's a countdown. I'm feeling down, but it's really a count up because you are going up to the Keter. So Rav Nachman teaches lesson 24 that this is the secret of reaching the Keter. The Keter connotes a level which is beyond your grasp, and yet it's something that every Jew yearns to connect to. The Keter is the gateway to light, to have light in your life, the infinite light shining, joy, light, compassion, everything good, okay? So you want to reach that, but he says the only way to come to the Keter is you have to be able to wait. The word Keter is similar to another word in Aramaic, katar, like Elihu said to Eov in the book of Eov. Elihu is trying to comfort and console Eov for all of his suffering, and he gave him a good argument, and he said to him, katar li ze'er v'achaveka, wait for me a little, wait, katar li, so I can compose my thoughts, and I'll give you even better arguments why you shouldn't question Hashem's ways. This is what Elihu ben Barachel told Eov. So Rabbi Nachman points out Keter and Katar are the same letters, and they show a connection. What's the connection? That in order to come to the Keter, you have to be a master. You have to be able to have a mastery of waiting, Katar. And what happens when you're waiting? Exactly what we're going through in Sefirat HaOmer. All these setbacks and this chalishut hadat, feeling so low about yourself, feeling so vulnerable and so you can't even you feel very bad about yourself. That's exactly what happens when you're in waiting period. You're waiting for them to open the doors, and while you're waiting, it's all these crazy things are happening. You have this also in actual life. You have people who are, when you go to a doctor, you go to a professor, you go to a lawyer, you go to a whatever, a judge, a court. You're always in the waiting room. See how people are in the waiting room. People are like nervous. They're looking at their watch like 25 times. A guy is impatient. He has to go smoke like 20 times. Just people, when they're waiting, there's a lot of impatience. And people are very negative when they're waiting and they can't sit still. They can't sit put. That's exactly it. How you're waiting and that waiting period. And even though you are as you are, we understand. In heaven, they understand. So what's the thing? That you still value yourself even though you see how you are when you're waiting, in your waiting period, how you're so miserable and so upside down. Yet Hashem values it, and He wants you to value it. He wants you to count the day as it is while you're waiting. This is one of the biggest messages of Sefirat HaOmer, that my day counts, even though it's a count down. I feel very down, but it's really a count up. And Hashem's, Rav Nosson said it, and even if you feel the way you do about yourself, Hashem you can't tell Hashem what to do. You can't decide for Hashem. You can't say, okay, you can't now prosecute yourself and say, okay, I tell the judge, this is how I am, so accept my opinion. The judge, which in this case is the King of Kings, Melech Malchem Lachem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he decides, not you. You can't tell him what to do. Hashem wants to see the positive, even though you see negative. That's His business, okay? So what's for you to do? To fill it in. Hashem is telling you it has a value. You say, but what? I don't have a value. I see Hashem. No, I see the value. The day counts. This is one of the biggest messages Rav Nosson writes of Sefirat HaOmer, that you're counting down the day as it is, because it counts. Why does it count? Because hidden in the day there is good. Okay, the bad is too overwhelming, the negativity is too overwhelming, and it covers up the good. But the reality is there's still good at the end of the day. We should be zoche to count our days, even though they are as they are. And even if the days are just so upside down, it's still a day. And this is the countdown to get to Shavuot, the receiving of the Torah, the actual Keter, the 50th level, the gateway to the infinite light.